Hello, hello, hello. My name is Charles Inniss. I'm a health and wellness coach. And in this video, I'm going to try to help you to better understand motivation. If you watched the video that I did titled Understanding Motivation 1, then you know that motivation is a complex subject. And so it can't fully be understood with any one idea. The idea that I shared in that first video was this: motivation is an emotion, and emotions change all the time based on our situation. And if we think about our situation holistically, we can consider what's happening in our body, what's happening in our mind, and what's happening in our life. In this video titled Understanding Motivation 2, I also want to share a simple thought. And when I say it, you're going to be like, Charles, that's so straightforward. But here we go. You will be more motivated to follow through with a plan when that plan is in alignment with your purpose and your ability. And so as a coach, I often talk about this as aligning your P.P.A, aligning your purpose, your plan, and your ability. Now, when we think about these words, purpose, plan, ability, of course, they have synonyms. Purpose can refer to our vision, our values, what's meaningful to us in a situation. Plan can refer to a strategy, a task, an activity, a behavior. And ability can refer to resources, whether they be internal or external. Internal resources are things like skill and knowledge, energy, strength. And then external resources are things like access, money, free time. And so again, we will be more motivated and more excited to follow through with a plan when that plan is in alignment with our purpose and our ability. Okay, so let's kind of talk about this with an analogy. Now, I'm thinking about our jobs. So if you show up to work and your boss asks you to do something that you're really good at, and that is in line with what you think they hired you for, you'll get along with your day and you'll be motivated to follow through with that task. But if you go into work and your boss asks you to do a task, a strategy, a plan, a behavior that you don't feel is quite in alignment with the reason you think that you should be there, you're probably going to be like, that's not my job. Now, you may still follow through and do what your boss asks you, but you won't be as excited or motivated to do it if it doesn't align with your vision or your purpose for being at the place. What also may happen is you walk into work and your boss asks you to do something, asks you to do a plan, a task, a strategy that is in alignment with your vision for what you think they hired you for, but you might be concerned about your ability to pull it off. It could be an external resource like free time. You may have so much on your plate and you think, I know I'm supposed to do this, but how am I going to get to it? And so again, you may be less motivated to get to that other thing just because free time is a challenge. Or your boss asks you something, it's in alignment with what you think you should be doing, but you're just not sure that you have the internal skill. As an example, you may be asked to present at a meeting to a group of leaders. And you're like, oh, well, yeah, this is my area of specialty, but I'm not sure about my ability to present or public speak. So again, you may still do the task, but you won't be as excited or motivated to do it when you feel like it's not in line with your ability. So again, really straightforward. We are more motivated and more excited to do plans when they are aligned with our purpose and our ability. And anytime a plan does not align with our purpose, we may still do it, but we'll be less excited and less motivated to do it. Okay, so let's take this concept of aligning purpose, plan, and ability and apply it to a health and wellness context. And let's talk a little bit about exercise. All right. Now, as a physical therapist and personal trainer, motivation to exercise is one of the top reasons people seek me out as a wellness coach. So this is something I've thought about a lot. But I first just want to kind of explore this idea. What's the purpose of exercise? Or what do you value in exercise? There's 4 things that kind of jump into my mind as general categories. So someone might look at the purpose of exercise as increasing their fitness and their performance. They want to exercise so that they can lift more weights, they can run further, they can squat more, they can plank longer, they can climb mountains, they can win races. Or sometimes people might want exercise to simply keep them healthy, keep their joints feeling good, help them to stave off diabetes and heart disease, and just keep them healthy. Some people might look at exercise and say, I want the benefit of body shaping. They want to lose weight, they want to trim, they want to add muscle. And some people might look at exercise or movement activities through a purely recreational and fun lens. If we think about kids when they're running around in the backyard playing soccer or shooting hoops, they're not doing it to burn calories, they're doing it because it's fun. So there's lots of things that we might value in the concept of exercise or physical movement. And we will be more motivated to do any plan when that plan matches up with what we value in exercise. So here's a couple examples of where I feel people sometimes have a plan that doesn't completely match up with what they value in exercise. If you're an ex-athlete, this may describe you, and you don't have to be an ex-athlete to feel this way, but in talking to a lot of ex-athletes, I find that they value performance, they value fitness, they want the hard workout. But now they're 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, their blood pressure is getting a little bit higher, and their doctor says, you know what? It might be good if you try to take a walk at lunch. And I've sat in front of so many people who have said something like this to me. Oh, Charles, I know I should be walking more, but walking just doesn't do it for me. And I think what people are saying when they say walking doesn't do it for me is I value performance. I value this fitness benefit. And walking, I know it's good for my health, but that's not the value that it's not as aligned for me. So I'm not as motivated to do that. Now, here's a key thought, I think, for a lot of people. Many times I find that people have an all or none perspective around behaviors that they'd like to change. And I think part of the reason that happens is we only plan for our top value. Okay, so we say in our minds, this is what I value. We don't think about the other things that we value. And so we make a plan that matches up to that. And so inevitably, all the other plans don't match up. And so we're not as motivated. And so what I'll say is that what can help you sometimes to avoid all or none mentality is to look for additional things that you might value in a situation and make a plan B based on those other values. Okay, so when I'm working with someone who's hardcore, they want the hardcore workout, and I say, okay, well, that's plan A, but what's plan B? For the days when you can't get to the gym, when you can't go run 10 miles, when you can't do the hard workout. And then inevitably they say, well, shoot, I also value health. It's second on the list. So let's put walking in as a plan that aligns with that second value. So again, sometimes the disconnects comes because we just make a plan with our top value. And so if we can't execute that plan, then we're just not as motivated for other plans. Okay, so here's another scenario in which I feel sometimes we get mixed matched plans and values in exercise. And I know that as a trainer, I did this when I was getting started, and I think that we do this too often. Sometimes in media, we highlight the hardcore athletic workout as the road to better health. And we scare people off who are just looking for help. And they're like, oh my goodness, I got to do all of that to get healthy. And it scares them off. And so what I'm saying is that walking is a great way to get healthy. And so sometimes when we can get the person who just wants to be healthy to do a plan that isn't necessarily boot camp, then sometimes that helps them to be more motivated with that plan. Again, I'm not saying that someone who wants to be healthy can't do boot camp, but again, I think sometimes we scare some people off when we're promoting exercise because if we promote the athletic hardcore workout as the only way, then anyone who values exercise for a different reason might not match up with them. Okay, last thing I'll say about mismatched values. When I think about kids, especially, we're always talking about how do we get our kids interested in moving more, but then we tell them to go on a treadmill. And treadmills are boring for most people. And so again, if someone values recreation and fun in their physical activity, and we tell them to do a plan that doesn't line up with that value, they won't be as motivated to do it. So again, for you, what I'll say is that if you can figure out what you value most about any activity, but if it's exercise, then what do you value next? And what do you value next? Make your plan A around your top value, make your plan B around the other things that you value. And that may potentially help you to find a plan that you feel excited to pursue. Okay, just really quickly about exercise and ability, because I think sometimes that this is a disconnect for people too. Free time or physical ability is a concern. And so sometimes we are given a plan by someone and it doesn't fit in our schedule. And if it doesn't fit, we just stare at the plan. And I always say this, there is so much benefit in a little bit of movement, more benefit than we sometimes give it credit. And so when you are making your exercise plan, you have to think both about what's realistic based on your physical ability and your other resources and what matches up with your values. Okay, I've said a lot, but let's just recap this and then I'll say bye. We will be more motivated to follow through with plans when those plans feel like they're in alignment with our purpose and our ability. So when we can align our P.P.A, our purpose, plan, and ability, we'll find that we're more motivated to follow through with those behaviors. When something is not aligned, we may still do it, but we won't be as excited to do it. Again, this is such a simple concept, and I hope that you will got your wheels spinning and you're starting to think, maybe there's some ways that I can readjust my own plan so that it aligns better with my ability and my purpose. I use exercise as an example, but the truth is this concept can be applied to any behavior, any plan, any goal. What personal goal is important to you? How can you align your plan with what you value? How can you align your plan with where you are and the abilities and resources that you currently have? You might be surprised that with a little bit of aligning of your P.P.A, your motivation just naturally flows. That's all for now. Until later, happy aligning.